Peace and light of God, exquisite perfection, infinite and everlasting creation. To accept the light, the peace, the harmony that is all that exists is the journey of healing. Every day is the divine opportunity to remember that only peace is real, that only harmony exists, and the willingness to embrace that peace and that harmony, that light, by happily surrendering all that you have believed to be known about the world, all the rules that you have made up that have held you a prisoner of limitation and separation. These rules that are made from a belief that a defense is needed permeates into every aspect of life within the illusion of separation. And it is in the recognition and the willingness to surrender these made-up rules, the rules of good and bad and right and wrong and more and less, light and dark, all the levels and degrees that have been so put on a pedestal of worth, all in the guise that they keep you safe, all in the perception that the rules that you've made up have legitimacy, and that you want this legitimacy to stay so that you know what to expect, so that you can count on your knowing of the past to predict the future. In this insanity, the disappointment is that the future keeps looking like the past, keeps showing up just in different flavors, different costumes. But the past just keeps showing back up again. Because all the rules, all of the levels and degrees are coming from the past. And they have no worth. They have no reality. They have no truth. The ego would like you to believe that if these rules have no reality, then you must not have reality either. Because you've identified yourself so deeply with these rules that you can't see yourself not enmeshed and completely believing they are you. But they're not. These rules and the defenses that they use as weapons have no resemblance to the truth of you at all. The light that you are, peace that you are, the harmony, the tranquility, the joy. All of this light is within you, waiting to be recognized, waiting to be met, to be invited to come forward out of its hiding place, its sleep state. And all of humanity, this divine reflection of God, is seen as separate. It's seen as other. And the mind would say to the promise that you are one with all creation. The mind says, how could this be? So obviously different. So obviously separate. Look at all these different bodies. Look at all these different personalities, these different stories. And the mind that made up these stories cannot grasp, cannot understand that there is only one. This acceptance of one, not two, is the leap of faith, this deep place of trust that the power of love, when invited, will transform all false identity. And your participation in that healing, in that transformation, is the willingness to no longer give your loyalty to the illusions of pain and suffering, to the illusions of knowing from the past what you think you know. The most addictive element of the illusion is the habit of what you know, that runs on expecting things to be as they have always been, out of fear that if they're not as they've always been, you won't know how to control anything. And the biggest fear is not being in control. That's where the terror comes from. It's like standing on the edge of a cliff and saying, okay, let's go. And yet when you stand on the edge of that cliff, love gently leads the way. Within your heart and within your being is choice. In every moment, choosing for God, choosing for love. But this choosing for love isn't a habit. And that's why it's many times ignored. Because it's just easier to follow the habits of the rules, of the formulas, And every time you choose for love, there is a leap of faith. There is a recognition that in that choice for love, you're putting your faith in promises that you did not make, that you didn't formulate, like your rules, like your knowing, like your habits. You believed all of that was in your control, except that it kept taking you to the same place again and again and again, the past, and always ends up leading to pain and suffering. And yet, to choose love, to find it in your heart to question the validity of your knowing, and to ask the question, what would you have me say, dear Lord? Where would you have me go? How would you have me look on this in this moment? Show me the way. And in that leap of faith, there is another voice, the voice of fear, that is saying, don't be a fool. Follow what you know. Follow the rules of the made-up world. And it's that strength of love, that calling on the mighty companions of love, that is really necessary to find the strength, to find the truth of strength, which is not what you have believed strength to be. In the world of rules, you have mistaken strength. It's actually weakness. But you've perceived it as strength to control, to know, to decide, to have formulas that are so ingrained that you're not sometimes even aware that your mind, the ego mind, is running everything. And a whole day can go by, a whole week can go by, and it's all been driven by these rules, these beliefs of knowing. And love was put aside for the sake of knowing, for the relationship of familiar. There's nothing the ego loves more than to say, oh, I know that. I know that. Yeah, 2 and 2 equals 4. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know how that works. I know how this works. I know where this goes. I know how this, I know this. I know. Then the ego cheers. And that's the little discomfort that you have, that sense of discomfort. Maybe it's a little more than a little. When you ask the question, what would you have me say? Where would you have me go? I don't have to worry about what to say or what to do because love will direct me. But in that moment of that acknowledgement, of that willingness, a little fear arises, a doubt comes up, And you have to step past that discomfort, that uneasiness, and trust. Trust that there is a power of love beyond any comprehension, beyond any concepts that are possible, and to trust in the promises of all the masters that love is real, that harmony and peace is really who you are, what you are, that you are on the road, the calling of love that is calling you to freedom, and that you have no concept of that freedom. There is, in this world, no connection to freedom. The only connection to freedom in this illusionary, time-filled world is a temporary freedom of choice. That's what is here. To choose between what you know, habit, from the moment that you wake up in the morning, habit wants your loyalty. It wants your life. It wants your day. It does not want you to join with life. It wants you in the familiar. So the relationship to communion with love is a journey that you can't compare with anybody else. You can't find the rule book for. It's just opening to that divine guidance of love that is waiting to serve you, that is waiting to redirect you, to offer love, to have no opinions, to have no conclusions, to have no assessments. Is it an addiction? Yes, it is. How many times within a half hour does your mind want to go to what you think you know? You see an object and you instinctively, out of habit, want to make a story out of that. Let's say that you see a glass of water that's only filled half of the glass. And your mind immediately wants to make a story about that glass being half full. It's not about being half empty or half full. It's that any story about what this means, what you have to compare it to, what you know about it, what it reminds you of, it's all made up. It's all made up. And the mind would say, well, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? Except that all of these thoughts and all of this knowing reaffirms constantly that you are separate and that your mind is in charge. That your mind is what is necessary to protect yourself. It doesn't look that way. It doesn't seem like protection. It seems like logic. It seems normal to constantly be assessing. But here's the clue. The more that you perceive yourself as being out of control through circumstance, through perception of whatever you think you see, whatever you think you know, the more that you perceive yourself as losing control, the more you want to know. The more you want to get a handle on it, to identify everything, to make sense of everything, to conclude and have reason and logic and stories and all that goes on through that belief that you're losing control. The ego isn't going to scream at you and say, hey, darling, you think you're losing control, so you're reacting to that losing control. No. The ego doesn't want you to be conscious of it. It just wants you in reaction. Habit. You have signals within your own structure that are your clues of what's going on. The clues are a little varied for each beloved. Sometimes it's hysterical laughter. Sometimes it's talking faster. Sometimes it's wanting to tell stories. Sometimes it's the belief that you're edging on a place that is becoming upsetting through what you think you see. Starts planting little seeds of disharmony so that you're wanting more control. Every time that you have an opinion about something in your daily walking in the journey of separation, every single opinion is like dropping a drop of water into a bucket, and pretty soon the bucket is overflowing and you feel out of control, out of being able to figure things out anymore, and you start to get really fearful inside because you don't know what's going to happen and your fear is really triggered. What's the remedy? The remedy of love. The remedy of love is the willingness to surrender the moment from awakening in the morning of thy will be done, show me the way. I don't know. And the willingness to continually accept that there is a power of God that you're putting your faith into. Every beloved has an inner journey You know what's running. You don't know necessarily what's running because you may not be conscious of it because you've chosen not to be conscious. You've chosen instead to get the habits in place. But the choice is to recognize that you've made that choice. You have selected peace or pain. Now the ego would try to convince you that, oh no, when I'm in control, I'm not in pain. When I'm in control, I'm on top of the world. When I believe that my control is intact, I've got the tiger by the tail. I know. But pretty soon, that fear starts running. Pretty soon, the distress starts building. The suspicions start to build. The belief that you are unsafe starts to build. And every moment there is this choice. Do I continue choosing that I think I know and I've got the tiger by the tail? Or do I want to be led and take that leap of faith? That my authority is God. My authority is not my mind. My authority is not the rules that I have made. My authority is not reactions and rules that I have adhered to and believed in. I'm willing to choose that my authority is God. It's what I came here for. I incarnated to remember. I have wasted, I have walked hundreds, thousands of lifetimes to come to this lifetime, this divine lifetime. Divine only because in this lifetime you have come to the real call to love, the real call to heal, the real call of surrendering the insanity of a made-up world of separation, pain, and suffering that truly do not exist. And that's where the leap of faith is. To accept that everything that you think you see, everything that you think you understand, everything that you think you experienced was correct. And yet every master has promised the same promise, that you are peace and light and joy, that you cannot die, that you are not a body, and that everything in its truth is the light of God. And to accept this not only for yourself in the sense of who you think you are, but to accept this for all creation. And to recognize that the only helpfulness, the only service that there is to bring truth, to bring light, to bring peace through your acceptance of peace and light and joy, and to offer that peace and light and joy by removing all thoughts, by not allowing yourself to have any thoughts about anyone or anything that is not about love. In this, there is no compromise. Now, the world has given you another set of rules. The other set of rules is pity is valid. Worry is valid. And if pity and worry is valid, then anger has to follow that it is valid also. Upset, resentment, disturbances of all kinds are valid in the world of separation. The focus of love, to walk the path of love, is to accept, which can seem very insane to accept it, that none of these things have any validity and are not real. They are lightless, without light. They are defense systems that have no value of any kind because there's nothing to defend. There's nothing to protect. You can't die. You can't be hurt. If you accept this, then that truth has no relationship to what you're making up in your habits of knowing. Because everything that's being made up in the habits of knowing is all about being hurt. It's all about losing. It's all about time. It's all about levels and degrees and good and bad and right and wrong and more and less. And it doesn't really exist. Now the mind again would say, how could that be? It's my reality. No, it's not your reality. It's your illusion. There is this calling to accept God is love. God is love. I am the light of God. There is a longing to accept this. But to accept this, it is to deny betrayal, to deny suffering, to deny conflict, to deny time, to deny right and wrong, good and bad. To have peace in the heart, to let the heart bloom and open, is to put everything into the hands of God and follow from that peaceful place within the heart, that sureness, that acceptance that I cannot be hurt. I am the light of God. I cannot die. I am the eternal truth of God. The world will not agree. The world will say, no, that's not the truth. Here we have 10 million concepts that we can present to you to change your mind. And to keep coming back to the purity, to the light, to wanting to follow, to wanting to be led. It's the way of love. Does the ego hate it? Of course. Now you don't even know that the ego hates it, because all you feel is the irritation when somebody says, stop planning. Stop thinking you know anything. Stop deluding yourself with your concepts of knowing. There is no way to heal on your own. You made up a separate system. And your separate system is not going to surrender itself. It's not going to help you see the insanity of the belief of separation. But the divine spirit of love, the power of God, is always wanting to serve you, is always wanting to show you the way. You're being called to open in communion to this power of love that's where you belong. It's where you really exist, is in that power of love, completely. And it's a journey back to that power of love, and away from the habits and rules that you've developed to protect and defend yourself, in the belief that you are in danger. To wake up and recognize there is no danger. That's the freedom. That's who you are. And the willingness to then to live as that light. Happily living as the light, because who wouldn't? But yes, there is a letting go. Prayer is the power of transformation, holds within it the power of transformation. When you pray, you're knocking on the door of love and saying, this is my communication. This is my calling. However the prayer manifests itself, it's a cry for help. Not out of desperation, but out of hope, out of trust that the power of prayer will open those lines of communication, that you're waking up your divine intention to remember. Over the mountains of despair, we will rise above. Over the heartache and the pain, upon the wings of love. The healing of our savage heart, gently by the dove, miraculously transforming us upon the wings of love. Terrible mistakes we think we've made, regrets we've undergone. Sometimes the hopelessness makes us forget the sun at dawn. All delight and joyousness, the tender mercies of Jesus, who carries our burdens upon the wings of love. In this world of limitation and separation, there are no wings of love. You don't call upon the wings of love in your knowing. You open the door of your heart and accept that there are wings of love that will carry all beliefs of separation into the light. But when you're busy in your mind knowing, you're not remembering the wings of love. You're not available for the transformation. Not because the transformation isn't available to you, but because you made a choice to know, to believe your own fantasies, to believe your rules, to believe your work ethic, to believe your lifestyle, to believe in your personality, to believe in your circumstances, to believe in the story of the past. And the wings of love are forgotten in that. But the wings of love are always waiting to unburden your heart, to surrender what you made up, moment to moment, truly moment to moment. Where would you have me now? What would you have me think? What would be most helpful? How would you have me look upon this world? Show me with the eyes of love. I don't know. Letting go of all the rules, letting go of all of the concepts that are constantly rambling through the mind. Letting go of that constant rambling, that chatter, that made-up stuff. And coming home into the breath and resting, opening the heart, and remembering, I am the light of God, and I am held upon the wings of love, miraculously transforming everything that is not the truth and the light and the peace of love. And that everything is only for one purpose, to remember. That everything is for healing. There is no other purpose. There is no other accomplishment. There is no other job. It's all to remember. It becomes very simple. I'm just here to remember. And letting it all be given away into the light of God. Oh, my holy Queen Mother, my Divine Mother, come to us now. Open this heart. Is this your prayer first thing in the morning? Open this heart so that I'm walking with an open heart all day, and let me remember all day to open my heart and rest with an open heart. Surrendering all thoughts. To open up my heart so that I can see. Come to guide my life. I'm calling on the power of love to come and guide my life. Hold my hand. You're here to give light to all beloveds. Let me be holding your hand in that giving of light. Show me the way of giving light, of offering blessings. Come and show me how to bless each beloved. Come to give light. Let me see the way for those who can't see, that I may see for them, and to hold that light of truth in every moment. Clearly offering love and light. Join me as I learn to give light to every heart, knowing nothing personal, but offering love, offering the divine transformation of love's presence every moment. Here I receive you, Divine Mother. I prostrate myself at your feet. Every morning I prostrate myself at your feet. I give you my day. I give you my purpose. I give you everything. Show me the way. Show me the way, Divine Spirit. Show me the way. I ask you for greater faith. I ask you to expand my faith, that I can trust more and more deeply as I walk this journey of love, having no purpose other than the purpose of offering love and remembering love. And that through every situation is the opportunity to remember love and to remember the truth of all creation. I ask you for faith. I ask you for my faith to deepen in every moment so that I can trust and take that leap of recognizing and letting go of all the concepts of the past, that I don't want any more to know anything, and I'm here only to remember love, to open the heart, expand into love itself, and to see nothing else, and to want nothing else, and to put my faith in nothing else. I ask you to show me the light, to show me the way of light, to show me the light in every beloved and every creation, to let go of all the habits of the past. Take my speech, take the way I walk, take everything that I have made up, transform it into the use of light. Strip me of all concepts of separation. I give you everything that I made up as a defense. Who did I think I was? What idea of a self did I make up that has no reality? Let me open to the divine light of eternal life. I say yes. Please guide me. Guide me to all beloveds, to offer love and blessings, so that everyone may walk together in the light of love, arriving at the divine door and bringing only true love with us as we return into the oneness of love. Every moment is an opportunity of love, and remembering that you are never without the mighty companions of love if they are invited. But the mighty companions of love are all masters who have been in complete devotion to humanity's remembering. Join us in that light of who you are. Serve that light. Serve the truth by shedding this false identity that is still clinging. And remember that you're not willing to let it cling any longer. Oh, minha Senhora Mãe, Senhora da Conceição, venha agora conosco, abrir meu coração, abrir meu coração, para eu poder ver. Vem guia minha vida, ó Virgem da Conceição. Vem dar luz aos teus filhos, vem proteger meus irmãos. Vem dar luz aos que não vêm, vem dar luz ao coração. Aqui eu te recebo, prostrado com vossos pés, meu coração de dor, te peço a minha fé, te peço a minha fé, dentro do meu coração, te peço a minha luz. Ó Virgem da Conceição, guia os meus irmãos, para todos juntos chegar no porto divino, depois que soubemos o amar. Dropping into the heart, moment by moment, asking the question, where am I? Am I in the heart? Am I resting in the heart? Or am I in my mind, conjuring up the next knowing, the next set of circumstances of knowing, the next set of rules, whatever it is? Surrender. Come back into the heart and rest. Rest and trust. I don't have to worry about what to say or what to do because love will direct me. And I can be content to be in this moment right here because love is here with me. Content. Not thinking, not planning, not knowing, just rest. And allowing the divine inspiration of love to carry you. Love is not going to leave you without the beautiful movement of your journey. Let that power of love be your movement. Let it lead, let it take you, let it show you, let it inspire you, let it open everything up. Because what you want is to remember love. I am here only to be truly helpful. Helpfulness is not the doer. Helpfulness is the remembering of love. And letting that remembrance in every moment be the inspiration to let love manifest through all form to offer love. And for no reason, no, and therefore, I know, because this leads to this, no, for no reason. For no reason I started skipping like a child. For no reason. And for no reason I turned into a leaf that is carried so high I kiss the sun's mouth and dissolve. No reason. And for no reason 1,000 birds choose my head for a conference table and start passing their cups of wine and all their wild songbooks all around. No reason. Just the heart being available and the mind being quiet and uncomplicated and unoccupied. And for every reason in existence, I begin to eternally laugh and love. For no reason. And for every reason in existence, to laugh and love. When I turn into a leaf and start dancing, I run to kiss our beloved friend. And I dissolve in the truth that I am. The mysteries of healing cannot be qualified. The mysteries of healing, the mysteries of transformation, the divine alchemy of love's transformation is not something that you can get a handle on and understand. It is by its very nature beyond the comprehension of a made-up mind that has been taken over, invaded by a belief in separation and a self-concept made. So it is with no reason that you can start skipping like a child. And if the body is not skipping, it is the heart that is skipping. Sometimes the body follows, but is your heart skipping, or are you so completely caught up in your thoughts that your world is this little narrow space like this that is all built on what you know? To expand has to be in the heart. It's not in the mind. It's surrendering the mind into the hands of God and letting the heart expand and be open and available, that there is nothing to defend, that you can turn into a leaf that is carried so high that you can kiss the sun's mouth and dissolve. This is not la-la land. This is reality. Your made-up identity is la-la land. It's the illusion of la-la land that makes no contribution, no sense, no creation, nothing. It doesn't do a thing except keep you miserable. Keep you in the knowing. The call of communion is to open those doors and enter into the light of love. Open your heart at your choice. It's the only freedom that you have. The only connection to freedom that you have is to choose love, to choose harmony, to choose peace, and let go of what you think you know. Make the connection of cause and effect, that it is the thoughts that you run out of habit that always end up bringing you misery. They always end up invoking fear. They always end up being a battleground. No matter what, if you're looking to win the lottery and you win the lottery, you will still be miserable in the belief of separation. What are you trying to prove? What are you trying to get? What are you trying to control? There's nothing there. It's time to turn into a leaf with love. And let yourself be carried so high that you kiss the sun's mouth and dissolve. Let love take you. Let love have its way with you. Trust the power of creation, the wisdom, the intelligence of the universe, God, love. Invite it all. Invite every divine being. Invite them all. Stop holding on to, no, I'm in a separate world. I have business here. I have to deal with my life. I have to deal with my knowing and figure things out. Do you really not trust that God can run your life? That God can run the whole universe, but your life is so difficult that it can't be run? Oh, your life can be run by love, by God. Take my life. Show me the way. Let me take that leap of faith that I've come here for. Let me join the beloveds that are fools for love. And accept that divine alchemy of love's transformation. For no reason, 1,000 birds chose my head for a conference table and started passing their cups of wine and their wild songbooks all around. That's not la la land. That's letting go of this third dimension and opening to the brilliance of the universe. That you are truly belonging there. That's where you really live. You don't live here. This is a death march. This is a march of pain and suffering, trying to put more rules and more rules and more rules together instead of, thy will be done. I haven't got a clue how to walk here. Show me the way. Show me the way. God will not leave you without. God is love. Love only offers love. Love only blesses. That's why every moment of your life is about learning to love. And the acceptance, I don't know how to love. Show me, please. I'm here to learn. I'm here to be led. I'm here to surrender. And for every reason in existence, I begin to eternally love and love. Because it's remembering. It's the meeting place of meeting your true self and letting go of a concept of self that you've made up. To open to the true self that's waiting to be met, to be remembered, to be accepted every moment. When I turn into a leaf and start dancing, I run to kiss our beautiful friend, and I dissolve in the truth that I am. Kiss the friend. The friend isn't hiding. you're hiding in your belief of your mind. It's time to step out of the shadows, out of the concepts of separation, out of this third dimension that has all these rules of time built into it through the agreement of separation. To accept that you are timeless. Today I surrender all sick illusions of myself. Sick illusions. Yes, they are sick. Because they're untrue. Because they make you miserable. Because they engender fear. Because it's devoid of light. Sick illusions of myself. I let the Spirit tell me what I really am. I'm willing to hear. I'm willing to imbibe. I'm willing to be nourished in the truth of love. With every sacred teaching, I'm willing to ingest, devour, love, light. I'm willing to accept. No willingness anymore, no choice anymore to push away the heart, to keep closing the heart because you want your mind to run. The willingness to center yourself in the heart, to recognize this is the center of your being, to open the heart, not push away the heart, and to recognize that you push away the heart by getting involved in what others do or don't do. What you think about what they do or don't do. What you think you know about it. What you think it's for. When you cannot in any way know or have an awareness of what is most helpful for someone else's journey. I used the example in the past of a beloved who was a young girl, in the form of a young girl, living in Iraq. And her village was being bombed. And while that village was being bombed, she hid in a closet for 3 days. And while she hid in that closet, she woke up. Would she have traded being in that closet for 3 days and not have the opportunity of awakening? To judge that bombing, to judge being in that closet, that's where the ego would go, oh, terrible, bad, 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 bad. No, it means nothing. You've given it all the meaning that it has. You've given that closet meaning because you think you know. Because you decided that to be in a closet for 3 days is bad. That's where this beloved will come. In the gloriousness of the closet. It's a learning to let go of all of these concepts of likes and dislikes and good and bad, right and wrong, that you use to separate. To separate yourself out and to believe that it keeps you safe by knowing these things of the world, when all it does is imprison you in a false identity, a false imprisonment of a little kingdom that you're making up. That means nothing. Is this a leap of faith? Absolutely, it's a leap of faith. the lightless, to be lacking of light. All emotions are the lack of light. Sadness, anger, resentment, belief of being unfairly treated. All of this comes through the emotional body, and it's all without light. It has no value, has no purpose, has no truth. Its only purpose within the illusion of separation is to affirm separation. It must be denied for the light to be accepted. If you're watching a horror movie and you buy the horror movie as reality, it's the same thing that you're doing with what you think you know. It has no reality. But this must be deeply accepted. And to stand in that light is to refuse the old agreements. All of these emotional elements of sadness and anger and resentment, fears of all kinds, their size doesn't matter. You can be a little irritated. Your belief in being a little irritated has no difference in it between that and murder. It's all the same. It's lack of love. It's not real. It has no value at all. It's made up. Can you relinquish these false identities? Absolutely. Absolutely. They're made up. Can you live without them? Absolutely. But you have to want to live without them. You have to want to not be attached to the past and your old identity as a badge of survival, as a badge of, I'm a survivor. No, you're not a survivor. You're the light of God. You have held that identity as being a survivor because you didn't realize that there was another choice. You made that identity up when you believed hook, line, and sinker in your identity. Now it's the time of letting it all go, shedding it all. And all that you have to bring to the dance is your willingness to be transformed. Your willingness to not be right about what you think you know. Does the ego like not being right? No, it does not. Because what gets stirred up is, no, nobody's going to think I'm just terrific anymore out of all my knowing. My identity will suffer. That's your identity of unworthiness that you're talking about, that you've been trying to pump up to hide from the fear that you are not worthy of, that you are not the divine light of God, and that there is something to hide from. There's nothing to hide from. You're the light of God. If you are tempted to see yourself as unfairly treated, you have to pray. Well, you don't have to. You can stay in the belief that you're unfairly treated. That's an easy one. So, it's like an old friendly chair. I remember this. Yeah, this is familiar. I've lived this for 100 lifetimes at least. The belief that I am unfairly treated. Only you can treat yourself unfairly. Only you. And even then, you can't change the truth of who you are. But you can make yourself miserable with your views, your assessments, your opinions, your concepts of what you think you see. And you will suffer with your own thoughts. That's where the suffering is in your own thoughts. So as you pray, you have to accept that if you accept that you're unfairly treated, you are denying the light within. That's what's going on. Every time you see yourself as needing pity, unconsciously even, and that you see yourself as unfairly treated, that the world is difficult, that anything is tough, that it's all a struggle, whatever, however you see it as being unfairly treated, you are denying the light that you are. And your prayer then in that moment of the remedy is to pray to be shown the light, that you accept the light that you are. I say yes to the light, and I refuse to accept this concept of what I'm making up. It means nothing. There's no explanation for it, it's just acceptance. There's no story that goes along with healing. It's acceptance. It is a leap of faith, of course it is. I would choose peace instead of this belief that I am unfairly treated. That includes being unfairly treated by your belief in being a body. Unfairly treated because the body is not what you think it should be. Because you have accepted and you have decided that you are the body. So then when the body doesn't work in its proper way, you take it personally. You take it personally as a direct belief that you are being unfairly treated by God. And that this is your evidence. And this body really doesn't mean anything. Truly. It's not to hate it. It's not to treat it with disdain, with irreverence. But it's not to identify it as you. You are the divine Spirit of God. Eternal. Light. Infinite. Perfect. Innocent. Complete. The light of God. To accept this is to transform and let the past go. Surrendering the future into the hands of God and living here in the heart now. No worries, no concerns, no story. Only love. Only love. So surrendering all thoughts of fantasy about anything, and resting and skipping like a child, resting and turning into a leaf that is carried so high that you kiss the sun's mouth and dissolve. Trust. Rest. Accept. And let it go.